Hello everyone, in this video I will show you some best tower defense games in 2020 for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. But before we start this video, make sure you subscribe to your channel Games Down and hit the bell icon for more gaming videos. So without any further ado, let's start this video. The first game of this video is They Are Billions. When They Are Billions first released in Steam Early Access in 2017, it was immediately clear that New Mansion Games had big plans for the steampunk-inspired strategy game. In it, players are tasked with guiding the last remaining humans as they fight to reclaim civilization from massive swarms of flesh-eating zombies. Included are 2 game modes: Campaign, which sees you building and defending colonies from waves of the undead while also researching new technologies and learning more about the zombie virus. Next up we have Dungeon Defenders 2. If you are a longtime fan of tower defense games, chances are you already know about the Dungeon Defenders series. Originally based on a showcase of Unreal Engine 3 named Dungeon Defense, the fantasy-themed action RPG has evolved into a much bigger, more content-packed experience since the release of the first game in 2011, introducing new characters, game modes, and story content in the sequel. Dungeon Defenders 2 sees 1-4 players fighting to protect the land of Etheria by building a variety of traps and turrets designed to freeze, burn, or simply destroy piles of monsters. Next up we have Wrack Exoverse. Wrack Exoverse is an interesting blend of first-person shooter, tower defense, and roguelike gameplay mechanics presented in vibrant cel-shaded graphics reminiscent of the Borderlands games. Each run sees you constructing maze-like defenses with turrets and walls in order to slow incoming enemies and prevent them from reaching your beacon before you can be extracted. Once your defenses are in place, the game switches from a top-down perspective to first-person, where you will be tasked with holding off waves of enemies using different class-based weapons including pistols, shotguns, sniper rifles, and alien blasters. Next up we have Mindustry. If you are a fan of games like Satisfactory and Factorio, you may enjoy Mindustry, a resource management-focused tower defense game. In it, players chain together multiple conveyor belts to supply turrets with ammo, produce building materials, and defeat waves of enemies while dealing with random in-game events such as accidental fires and enemy ambushes. A powerful map generator tool allows players to create unique environments, modifying the shape of the terrain, or generation, placement of rivers and resources, and even enemy wave layouts. Next up we have Dungeon Warfare 2. Repetitive gameplay has always been an issue plaguing the tower defense genre. After all, there are a limited number of ways to combine defenses, enemy paths, objectives, and map terrain unless the game in question uses procedurally generated assets. That just so happens to be the case in Dungeon Warfare 2, a strategy-based tower defense game in which players take on the role of Dungeon Lord and try to prevent greedy adventurers from stealing all their loot by filling dungeons with deadly traps and obstacles. Next up we have Grim Knights. Grim Knights is a casual yet challenging side-scrolling survival game with tower defense elements. In it, you control an entire village, assigning townsfolk different tasks such as chopping trees for wood and exploring mines for valuable ores. These resources allow you to expand your village and upgrade its defenses, which you will want to do sooner than later if you plan on surviving come nightfall. At night, monsters will appear and try to invade your village, requiring your townsfolk to combine their strengths and hold off the enemy until the morning. The next game of this video is Zombie Builder Defense. While zombie tower defense games come a dime a dozen, there are a few that manage to stand out from the competition by offering glorious visuals, an addictive gameplay loop, or some combination of the two. Zombie Builder Defense manages to check both boxes, presenting players with an action-packed top-down shooter with high-definition graphics and dynamic lighting effects. And you are going to need plenty of light if you want to survive wave upon wave of zombies who will storm your base from every direction. After successfully surviving a round, players are transported to a shop where they can spend any money they collected on barricades, turrets, traps, new weapons, and upgrades. Next up we have X-Morph Defense. X-Morph Defense is a unique blend of top-down shooter and tower defense that makes for an action-packed experience with plenty of room for strategizing. The game sees you controlling the X-Morph, a race of aliens that have invaded Earth with the intention of harvesting its resources and reshaping the surface. Missions have you carefully placing extraction towers and various defenses in order to create maze-like paths for your human enemies to follow. Next up we have Sleep Tight. Sleep Tight is an arcade twin-stick shooter tower defense game that takes childhood superstitions and turns them into a twisted reality. You play as a child who spends their days fortifying a base constructed from pillows and bed sheets in addition to stacking up ammo for your dart gun. Once night arrives, you'll find yourself in an epic battle for survival as hordes of scary monsters begin to spawn inside your room. Next up we have Aegis Defenders. Aegis Defenders is an action platformer tower defense game in which players control a team of heroes called Ruin Hunters as they search for the legendary Aegis weapon. Set in the fantastical world of Elam, the game sees you exploring forgotten ruins and battling hordes of ferocious beasts by building various blocks, turrets, and traps. This is all done via a unique fusion build system which allows the player to seamlessly combine different items mid-battle. Next up we have Over-the-Top Tower Defense. OTTTD is a real-time strategy tower defense game that sees players commanding a squad of heroes as they travel through trans-dimensional rifts to battle alien creatures. In it, players choose 3 of 7 available classes to bring with them into battle, unlocking new combat abilities and skills as characters gain XP and level up in addition to unlocking new weapons. When it comes to defenses, OTTTD provides players with enough variety to keep fights interesting. There are 12 tower types to build and 6 weapon classes, allowing you to try out different combinations and find the best strategy for your squad or for defeating a particularly challenging enemy. Next up we have Digor Die. Digor Die is an interesting blend of survival, open world, and tower defense gameplay mechanics. In it, you play as an employee of Craft & Company, an automated fabrication tool manufacturer who hired you to do some planet-to-planet sales. After an accident causes your ship to crash land on a hostile alien planet, you find yourself having to use the same tools you sell along with the planet's natural resources to keep yourself alive long enough to escape. Next up we have Orcs Must Die 2. While we patiently wait for the release of Orcs Must Die 3, now is a perfect time to revisit the most recent entry in the series. Orcs Must Die 2 maintains the action-packed strategic tower defense gameplay of the original while focusing more on online co-op. The game sees you and a friend taking on the role of a powerful war mage or sorceress as you protect fortresses, dwarven mines, and more from droves of monsters. Next up we have Frontline Zed. Frontline Zed is one of the newer entries on this list, having been released just last year. The zombie-themed tower defense game sees players exploring an infested United States. Days are spent searching for weapons, ammo, and other supplies in addition to preparing defenses. Once night falls, zombies become much more aggressive and can easily overrun players' barricades if not dealt with accordingly. The last game of this video is Bad North. Bad North is a challenging, real-time strategy roguelite with tower defense elements. In it, you are tasked with defending your small island kingdom against hordes of Viking invaders alongside the last remaining soldiers. Instead of directly fighting in battle, your role as commander sees you positioning and relocating troops in order to counter different Viking enemy types. So that's it guys, thanks for watching this video. Subscribe to your channel Games Down and press the bell icon for more gaming videos.